Hello and welcome back to another episode of Why So Sidious, a Nerd podcast. Joining me today are my co-host David and our special guest and returning guest. He was here, I think, last for our House of the Dragon coverage. He's basically our Game of Thrones aficionado. Ben Donahue, welcome back.
Hey.
Glad to be here, fellas.
And today we are covering Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the first 3 episodes. I know episode 4 came out yesterday, but some of us didn't have time to watch it, so we're gonna and splitting it into half. You're not looking at me. Doing the first 3 and the last 3 makes more sense. Make it a little more even, a little more clean. So get ready for 4 to 6 in a couple weeks. But we are back and running on Apple and Spotify. Had a bunch of uploads recently. Have our box office draft, look ahead of 2026, a DCU Avengers speculation with Theory in the lab, and then Doomsday Concerns with Romez Guy. Those are both with JD and some TikTok guests. So please go check those out. And our last Week in Geek, we talked about the Daredevil Season 2 trailer, got a spoiler-free Wonder Man review, so it was another jam-packed episode. And don't forget to check us out at social media at Why So Sidious Pod, Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. This is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the first 3 episodes, there is a reveal at the end of the 3rd episode, so make sure you've seen it. And also, we will be doing a segment at the end with some kind of with some other spoiler stuff not involved with the show, but the kind of wider canon around the show. And go check out our merch store. Our producers chiming in here. We always have our merch store open. Coffee cups, sweatshirts, t-shirts, stickers, whatever you want. So rep that Why So Sidious merch.
There you go.
All right, so Night of the Seven Kingdoms, or Dunk and Egg, occurs roughly 90 years before the original Game of Thrones series and about 80 years after House of the Dragon. So right there in the middle. 153 is the last dragon during a period where Targaryen rule is weakening after the dragon's extinction. And of course features, spoiler alert, Aegon Targaryen and Sir Duncan the Tall. I already said spoiler alert before, so it's all right.
It's fine. They don't know which one. There's like 7 of them.
Exactly. So our quick kind of overall thoughts first, of course, is kind of a much smaller scale of show than Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. More character-driven, feels more medieval, not a lot of fantasy aspects yet, not a lot of magic and those kind of, no dragons, obviously, so the dragons brought back the magic. Of course, we learned that in Game of Thrones. Way more heart. I feel like it's more relatable. So, Ben, how are you liking the show so far?
I'm liking it a lot. I didn't have really a scale of expectations. I haven't read the book, didn't know much except for like the surface story of Dunk and Egg. But I liked it so far. And I do, at first, I think David and I talked about this, the 30-minute episodes was kind of like, kind of wish it was an hour, but it's paced out good. And I do like that it's, you can watch it fairly quickly.
Yeah. Dave, how you liking it?
Yeah, I love it. It's again, like you said, you described it in a very accurate way. It's small scale. It's not Game of Thrones. It's not this massive kind of proportion we're used to, jumping between all these different storylines across of Westeros. We're focusing in on Renaissance fair style storylines here. So right off the bat, it feels like it's just a more intimate story. But it's done in such a way, because you could be concerned, like, is that going to be boring? Is that going to be slow? Coming off the crazy events we get in Game of Thrones, House of Dragons is literally just dragon wars. I mean, it's just massive CGI fest. And now you're dropping down to this lowly hedge knight and this little bald kid that are following him around going to tournaments. It doesn't exactly jump off the page, like seem like the most enticing thing, especially if you've never read the books, because Lub and I have read them. And so we're already excited for it based on the story that we were getting here. And if you don't know about it, though, like you're just a casual fan, it's like, well, what am I getting excited about exactly for this? But they're just nailing it, man. They've nailed the tone. Dunk and Egg are cast perfectly. Right off the bat, it has that feel that the book has, because the book has a different feel than the main Game of Thrones books, too.
Oh, yeah.
like it's just a different style. And like I mentioned, we had multiple whores on screen and they kept their clothes on through multiple episodes. So that is a very large indicator that this is a different style of show. No, but overall thoughts, I think they're killing it. And it's a bummer. It's only 30 minutes, but it's kind of nice. Like perfect pound for pound. It's great TV. I just with the second season, it'd be cool if it was like only 6 months out.
Right. Just give me 45-minute episodes, right? I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, we can get into the first episode. I agree with you guys' takes. I'm loving the show as well. So episode 1, The Hedge Knight. Dunk, a newly orphaned hedge knight with no status or money, heads to the Ashford tournament, hoping to make a name for himself. Along the way, he meets a strange but capable boy called Egg, who insists on becoming his squire. As Dunk struggles to find support among nobles, the episode quietly establishes their partnership and hints that luck might be finally turning in his favor. So the episode starts off with Sir Arlen of Pennytree passing away. Dunk is burying him, and he kind of quietly goes off with his sword, armor, and 3 horses. So do we believe Dunk is a true knight, or do you think he's making this up? Because, a knight can make a knight, but there's no real evidence of it. And the story seemed kind of thrown together last minute when he was asked about it. So, but Dunk doesn't seem like a liar. He seems like he's not witty enough, quick enough to make up a big lie. What do you think?
Yeah, Ben, what's your take? Because I'll answer after.
I kind of go back and forth on it, but you touched on it. Like, he just doesn't strike me as the guy that would lie. That's kind of the only reason that I do believe him. Otherwise, from everything we've seen, and granted, we haven't really seen him fight. So I think that will be more telling when we do see that.
True.
Because if he just, I know you guys know how the book goes, but like, if he just went out there and like got manhandled his first time out, then you'd be like, okay, well, sorry, big guy.
Even if I didn't read the book, I would assume that he's like a secret badass. That's what he seems like, and obviously I haven't seen him fight in the show yet, so he's got some skills.
It's a small excerpt and it's somewhat of a spoiler alert, but if you watch the Game of Thrones show, there's a sequence in which Joffrey is taunting Jaime for not having any pages in the White Book, which is the book. It's the history records of every single knight who has ever served in the Kingsguard. And at one point he says, Sir Duncan the Tall, 4 whole pages. He must have been quite the knight. And Jaime's like, so they say. So there are hints beforehand if you haven't read it too. And obviously they're making a show about him. So he's not going to get his ass whooped right off the bat or just be just a donkey.
Right.
But Lub, I was holding off on answering because I wanted to ask you, do you remember if they specifically say that in the book? Like, was there a scene in the book where Sir Arlen actually knights Dunk, or are we left trying to kind of guess in the book as well? Because I don't recall that.
I'll have to look into that for maybe our next coverage.
It's been a while, I guess.
It's been a while, yeah. But I feel like it's the same because I think the book starts off with him passed away already, right? It's kind of same.
Yeah.
Spot.
We don't really get anything about him other than what Dunk says about him. I think there's maybe one scene where he talks to Dunk, but it's very similar to the opening here. So I don't remember. Part of me wants to think he kind of told a white lie to get into this, but I can't remember for sure. So maybe we'll find out. But just he picks up the sword and everything after Sir Arlen dies. It was kind of a meta. He holds up the sword and he's like, yeah, maybe I'll go to the city guard. And he goes, sir, stop raping. That's like, it's like cosplay of it. And that felt like a meta, like, yeah, we're not getting raped in this show. It's a little Dunk stopping the rape. There you go.
That's funny. He heads out on the road and meets Egg stealing food in the stables, but realizes this kid's pretty sharp. And so for child actors, it's kind of tough sometimes. Sometimes they can be kind of annoying. And even Egg, it seems like a tough character to cast, but I think they did a pretty good job. So, Dave, do you like the Egg casting?
Hey, he's great. I agree with George R. R. Martin. He told the actor that it felt like he jumped straight off the page of what he wrote for this character, which can you get a bigger compliment as an actor, especially a child actor? Yeah, from the author being like, you are literally what I dreamed of. Like, whoa. No, he's let's with stuff going around these days. Maybe we tone it back and be like, you're great.
I dreamt about a boy like you.
Not in this
You
climate.
know, little kids. You've seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Frank Reynolds just popped in your mind. Yeah, no, great. It's a perfect cast. I love this cast already. Man, now I'm like eggshells. I
Hey,
don't wanna say
no
the
pun
wrong-
intended.
Pun intended. Yeah.
Ben, do you like the egg casting and just the character so far?
I do. Yeah. I think he's like innocent but witty. And again, obviously, I didn't read the book, but just kind of what my perception of it was, I think he's doing a great job. Him and Dunk. I mean, they fit into those roles so well.
Yeah.
I did see today that in the book, Dunk is supposed to be like 16 or 17. So that would maybe
Right.
be the only thing is this guy's like late 20s. And
I like it a little, him aged up a little more.
yeah, because it's more big brothery, you know, he's
Right.
like, don't do that. No, you can't do this.
Mhm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
realize he was that young in the book. That's wild.
yeah, they're only like 7 years difference.
Wow.
And knowing Egg's true identity when they're watching the jousting or when they're watching other things, you can tell he has that Targaryen in him, where he's like super fascinated with like the violence and even the dragon, the puppet show. When he's staring at that dragon, like, oh man, that's kind of a little teaser for later. But so definitely love the casting as well, and he plays a very good little Targaryen. They get to the tournament camp, and there's all these elite knights, banners. Dunk has none of that. And this Stefan Fossaway guy's beating up squires on the training grounds, kind of messed up, and then almost challenges him to a fight. So that was pretty funny, all of that. And Dunk's like, nah, I'm good, man, and just walks off. Kind of surprising.
Hey, don't show your hand. Don't
Right,
show
yeah.
people what you can do beforehand. Yeah.
That's true.
Let that apple sucker do his thing. Son of a gun.
And Lionel Baratheon. So
He's
he was
great.
a pretty interesting character.
He's great.
There's like the party time that they all kind of start drinking, dancing together. They have like a cool, well, not cool, but an interesting conversation when he's like blackout drunk at the end too, talking to Dunk about, you know, what his future can be and all that stuff. So did you like this character, Ben?
Yeah, he was probably the most entertaining, I would say, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how that interaction was going to go. I kind of thought it was going to go the other way and just
Right.
he was going to like tell him to piss off or like kill him. I mean, I know he wasn't going to kill him because there'd be no show, but like do something violent to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then going forward too, I thought he would just never remember him. But in I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit. The next time they see each other, he's like,
Oh, cool.
They're buddy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because he asked him, he's like, there's only 2 reasons you could be here right now. And I forgot what the 2 reasons were. And he's like, I just came for food. And he's like, oh, shit.
Well, yeah, he's like, you show up in my tent. Did you? All right. What gift did you bring? He's like,
yeah,
gift.
right.
I'm just here to kick it. And you can tell Lionel was like kind of respecting that. He's like, all right, this guy really doesn't know what the hell's going on. He is so out of his element right now. I'm going to take him under my wing. Dude, he's been great. He's been great. He's called I think he's called the Laughing Knight or the Laughing Storm is his nickname. Dude, I love him. I love the actor. He's got charisma. He's got that aura that he needs for this Baratheon character. My only issue is, and we don't really see it in the first couple episodes. This isn't a spoiler, but we see him at a point in episode 4, and you can tell he's not tall. He's not a massive figure. And in the story, I recall the Laughing Storm was tall. Like he was
All
big,
Baratheons
physically
are big.
imposing dude. Yeah, and this Lionel guy's pretty small. Even in his armor, he's still a badass, but he looks pretty small in stature.
Okay.
And that was like one of the things about the Laughing Storm was he was a very tall knight. Outside of that, though, he's been amazing. You could tell right off the bat, him and Dunk are drinking. Dunk's wearing his stag antler helm. Like, they're boys already. I don't know. He's a great additional character. He's going to be a fan favorite for sure going through this.
Oh, yeah. And then to wrap up the episode, they just kind of go back to the camp. or Egg's already back at the camp, right? And he's kind of got everything set up for Dunk. So he's basically proving his value, trying to stay around. And Dunk like tries to like play him off and not really like take him seriously. Doesn't want him to stick around for too long. But at the same time, he doesn't want to go out there by himself. He's probably pretty lonely after Sir Arlen passed away, so he needs a little companion by his side. Yeah. Anything else for episode 1?
No, we didn't get into a lot of the egg stuff until episode 2, but I just thought it was a great start. Just seeing it gave us little glimpses of the great houses sigils across the tournament, and tourneys have been such a thing that we've seen probably twice in the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones where they actually focused in on the tournament. Season 1 was the first one where the
best one
fought
probably
the Hound, and yeah, that was amazing. You see all the great houses combining, and then we saw it again one more time. I forget when, but it's
Joff's
a really
birthday
cool thing.
or something.
Yeah, but even that wasn't. They focused more on the drunk guy than anything.
Yeah,
else,
exactly.
As far as fighting
Right.
goes. But it's just a really cool event in this world. Like the tournaments, these great houses. There's so much stuff that have happened. If you read Fire and Blood, like a lot of stuff in history happened during these tournaments because it's great houses getting together and assembling. And there's always going to be stuff that pops off or changes the forward events of Westeros. So it's just exciting to focus in on one of these things like this. So it was a great start.
Well, the whole Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark thing happened all at a tournament, if you remember that. And Robert Baratheon and all that whole beef that went down that started the Robert's Rebellion started at a tournament. Always a tourney that sets things off.
If there were tournaments in our timeline and history, tournaments would have started World War I. Tournaments probably would have led to
maybe stopped one though. They could have
kicked stuff off.
They could have chatted it out one time.
Yeah, until somebody got blackmailed during the festivities. No, what?
All right, episode 2. At the tournament grounds, Dunk realizes how unprepared he is compared to the highborn knights. He sells the horse to afford armor and begins confronting the fear that he might die forgotten like his mentor. Meanwhile, the political weight of the Targaryen presence looms over the tourney, and Dunk starts to understand that knighthood isn't just honor, it's status, money, and power. That's what you got to get. So, to start off the episode, we get a little Sir Arlen, and my God, he's packing heat, huh?
That's the understatement
so
of the century.
crazy.
How is he standing up? How's he not just fall on his face? And
Nuts.
Which, by the way, hold on real quick. We totally neglected. I forgot. You asked if we had anything on episode 1. Real quick. The intro where
the poop.
he's putting Sir Arlen to rest, and then the Game of Thrones theme starts rising and rising. They're like, oh, we're hitting the game. They're doing the Game of Thrones for the intro of this show too. Cool. All right, screw it. And then as it's crescendoing, we just flipped Dunk shitting behind a tree. And the music cuts. Like, that was a pretty meta way as well of being like, this isn't the Game of Thrones you're expecting. Like, it totally just threw us for a loop right there.
Yeah.
And then, we get this episode opening up with Sir Arlen and his massive hammer peeing into a river. Really showing up the Hound from season 3, I think, when he pulled out his whopping hammer to pee in a river.
I don't remember that.
Oh, JD
I don't
does.
remember his hammer.
Yeah, they showed it. He just flipped that thing out into his hand. It was like, oh,
Man, they should call him the Mountain.
that's a foot at least. Anyways, sorry.
Anyways,
Continue.
we had to talk about it.
You have to.
So Dunk arrives at the tourney grounds, immediately realizes he's screwed. Like how long can a hedge knight survive realistically out in the world by himself? Like, you need money to make glory to doing these tournaments, and then you get like a Baratheon to take you under his service and you start making some money, but you got to have something first. So he does have to sell one of the horses for the armor. Sad.
That was tough.
But he did have
My
3.
wife did not appreciate that. She was not very happy during that scene.
And then just wait till a couple minutes later when Prince Arion shows up. Huh?
Yeah.
So the whole Targaryens start to show up, and it's all this like big, entourage coming in. There's a Prince of Dragonstone, Baelor, King Maekar, Arion, who is the younger Targaryen, who is Egg's brother. Spoiler alert. And then it was a cool scene with Dunk where he meets Sir Donald, one of the Kingsguard guys, and he's like, "Hey, what like big house are you from?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm the son of a crabber. Like I basically made a name for myself and built my way up," which was kind of cool, I guess. Kind of maybe hinting at what happens with Dunk.
Yeah, until you find
Downplaying
out
a little
later.
bit.
Yeah, that he's the largest crab producer for the entire country. Like, it's like, oh, never mind. Like, that's not really a rags to riches story. He's
I missed that part.
Yeah, the Fossaway squire was like, well, Dunk was like, well, if a squire or if a crabber can raise to, it's like a crabber. His father is the largest crabber in the entire country of Westeros and runs all of. He was like, oh,
that's so funny.
Oh, he's not. Yeah, not quite rags to riches, but
it does make it a little cooler though that he was downplaying it to kind of give him hope.
We are. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He was meeting him halfway.
Genuine guy.
Yeah. Pluto 24, shout out to you. Yes, we are discussing the GOAT of the Seven Kingdoms. Absolutely. You are welcome right off the bat with that comment.
Is he referring to Dunk? Is Dunk his favorite character in all of Game of Thrones? I like it.
I'm telling you, dude, Dunk and Egg are going to surpass a lot of major characters in the Game of Thrones fandom as far as fan favorites. I think they already have, but
this show could be better than House of the Dragon.
That was my prediction at the start. Night of Seven Kingdoms is going to beat House of the Dragon, but we'll see.
After season 2,
you have dragons.
Season 2 wasn't great. And
total as a series. Yeah, I was talking just seasons this year.
No, series. Like when this show
ends. If they do 15 seasons, like they were talking about.
That's true. Even if they do 4, if they do like the book series, these 3 books versus the 4 seasons of House of the Dragon,
it's got a chance. It's got the quality.
Because after the Dragon gets more on track with the book, then I don't think it'll be close. But if they keep doing like season 2, then yeah, it easily could.
There's not as much source material though. Like the Hedge Knight is a full book. Fire and Blood is, a history book with some descriptions in there of kind of what goes on. It jumps from part to part. So that's kind of has a little bit more to work with.
Is it really all riding on George R.R. Martin's writing? It seems so. We'll see. We'll see if a creator can branch off of his writing and still make a good season.
Yeah. We meet Baelor for the first time, and he seems pretty chill. Seems definitely very level-headed for a Targaryen, and they say the gods flip a coin. Definitely made the less crazy side of that coin.
Yeah,
and he vouches for him, right? He says he remembers Sir Arlen, gets him into the tourney, so things are starting to kick off. So
he was the only person. It's weird seeing a Targaryen get introduced, and he's like, oh, he's genuinely a good person. He seems like he's got some morals, he's got some integrity, and he's first in line to the throne as well. Yeah, but he was the first one to acknowledge him, and right off the bat, you can just tell, like, all right, I can vibe with this guy. Seems like a good dude.
Mm-hmm. He looks a lot like Jaehaerys. I saw the side by side of that. The king that comes before Viserys and House of the Dragon. They kind of show him in that intro scene, prologue.
Yeah,
I remember they look very similar. Wow. So the first round of the jousts are starting, and the nobles treat this event like a sport. Like they're just all cheering and having a great time. And Dunk is like, holy shit, like I could die when I'm in this. I could lose everything, having flashbacks of traumatic moments. Like he's really going through it for this, and definitely not ready for the moment quite yet. But I did like that kind of contrast to the two, where even Egg loved watching it, and Dunk's right standing next to him, like pretty, anxious, nervous of what he has to do.
Yeah, straight up. And real quick, Pluto saying Dunk is a 1 of 1. Egg might be my favorite / best child actor I've seen since Dakota Fanning. I think it's a pretty damn good start. This kid's got a bright future ahead.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Dexter Soul Ansel, by the way, is the name of the actor who plays Egg.
Dexter what?
Dexter Soul SOL is his middle name, and then Ansel. I don't know if that's his middle name. It could be just his full name, but it's very theater-esque. I'll say that.
Right. All right, Ben, I'll ask you a question. What scares Dunk more, death or being forgotten?
I think being forgotten at this point. I think him hearing, like, he goes basically to every person he meets and is telling stories about, God, what's the guy's name? With the
Arlen?
huge
Sir
Johnson.
Arlen.
Yeah.
Sir
And
Johnson.
he's telling all these, yeah. He's like, he did this and this. Do you remember it? And everyone's like, never heard of him. Don't know who that guy is. Like,
Right.
Are you making this up? And you can tell each time he says his story, he's getting more deflated and more deflated and more deflated. And he's just kind of like, nobody remembers him at all. So I would say he's definitely more worried about that.
Yeah, he has that line where he goes, How good of a night could you have been if nobody remembers you and you died on the bank of some unknown river or something? You died, and he's thinking about everything with Sir Arlen, his connection to everybody, and he's just slowly realizing, well, man, everything he did, nobody remembers. I'm the only one who remembers anything this dude did. So how great of a hedge knight could he have been if nobody remembers him? So I agree with Ben. I think making a legacy is starting to kind of click in Dunk's brain. Like, Sir Arlen, nobody remembers this fool. I loved him. I thought he was this great man, and nobody remembers him. So that you can tell that hurts finding that out when he looked up to him so much.
He did like the whores, though.
Well, I bet you the horrors liked him after what we saw after episode 2. It's one of the
I don't
greatest
know.
swords in Westeros.
A little too much.
Oh, God, I'm tired. Sir Arlen just walked in. Gabby, you got it tonight.
We get the tug of war. A little small victory for Dunk. That was pretty cool little scene. He definitely wants to belong. Like, he's definitely been a loner his entire life. Just wants to have some people around him. Flirts with the puppet girl, Tansel, a little bit. Maybe there's something going on there. She's also a whore as well, correct? She's a whore / puppet girl. Was she going
I'm
to
not
the...
sure if she is.
Was she in the tent with the Dundarian guy?
Was she? I don't think she's a whore.
Oh, no. Okay. Arian just called
No,
her
that was a different person. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I'm like,
She's got her
90%
side
sure those are
hustles.
characters.
Making shields and
Right. All right. Anything else for episode 2? That was a little shorter, just kind of focused around the first round of the tourney.
Yeah, Prince Valar Targaryen, clean ass armor, which I thought it was just his, but we kind of see in later episodes that it seems to be the Targaryen armor that everybody wears for battle. But he donned it during the lancing there, and it's clean. I know the Targaryens always have dope armor. Obviously, Daemon Targaryen and House of the Dragons came out with the very, like, almost matte gray, very, I can't think of the word right now, but detailed armor. But I loved it. Prince Valar Targaryen, he seems like a decent dude. I think he's Baelor's son.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive he's Baelor's son, so he's the nephew of the current King Maekar. But his armor was clean. And we got a couple lancing contests in this episode, right? Just
Yeah.
only a couple. Yeah, like 5-on-5. They all went at the same time, right?
Was it 5-on-5?
Because in
it
episode
started
3,
like that.
Arian has
Oh.
like the 1-on-1, but I think in this episode we got where they all lined up in a big
That's
group and charged
right.
at the same time, which was pretty wild too.
And they were like taking each other out before the next guy was even ready. Like one
Yeah.
guy was like just stopped and about to start going, and the guy just
It's like a free for all. As soon as it
Yeah.
starts, you just keep running through. If you don't make it to the starting line again, you're screwed because the other guy's going to be 90% of the way there by the time you turn around.
you're not at full speed. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, cool seeing different sides of the tourneys we've never seen, different games, different contests. That was cool.
Yeah, that's something we definitely, like we talked about, needed more of that in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Last thing about episode 2, we saw Baelor Targaryen and the other Kingsguard. They were in their decorative armor because they wear different armor when they actually go out to the lancing. But it was like the all white. It looked a lot like the Rings of Power armor that we saw.
The Newman. Numenor.
Yeah, the Numenorean. There, thank you. I couldn't think of it when I was typing the notes down. Isildur and his dad, the whole Numenorean, when they're wearing those all white armor and they're sailing across to go into battle. That's what the Kingsguard looked like in that episode. But it looked better. It looked a little bit better in this show.
Oh yeah.
But just costume design in this show so far has been peak. They've been killing it.
I mean, they don't have to put the budget in anything else really. No massive CG,
True.
no
There's
CGI
no dragons.
Yeah.
Well, there might have been CGI at the start of episode 2.
That thing was real.
That's a prosthetic. They're going the Danny McBride route, just showing cock all the time.
I'll look it up.
All right, episode 3. The stakes explode when Prince Aryan brutally attacks the puppeteer Tansel during a performance. Dunk defends her and assaults the prince, basically signing his own death warrant. Just as punishment looms, Aeg reveals the truth. He's actually Prince Aegon Targaryen. Suddenly, Dunk isn't just a nobody hedge knight. He's tied directly to royal politics. So I forgot the guy's name. It's like the treasurer guy, the guy who's around with Baelor and Maekar, comes up to him with the offer where the guy's going to lose on. Oh, he must be someone from.
I think he's the Lord of Ashford.
Yeah,
where the
right.
tournament is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants Dunk. The other guy's going to lose on purpose because their house does not have a lot of money, and then they're going to bet on this random guy, Dunk, to win and make a ton of cash. Like, let's go. So this is kind of where I do think Dunk is telling the truth about being a knight, because I feel like maybe he would have taken this offer or like even slightly considered it more. So I don't know if there's like something that happens in episode 4 I haven't seen yet, but does he fight? Does the first round happen with Dunk in episode 4? Oh no, it actually doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Obviously, right? No, there's no tourney anymore. Oh, sorry. So
Whoa.
Yeah. What are you? Boom, bang.
what? He can't be in the tournament and be on trial for assaulting the prince, right? You can't do
Why
both.
not?
You never know.
But Ben, would you have taken the offer, or are you an honorable knight?
Me personally, or me as Dunk?
But you can do both answers. You're obviously you're just as broke as Dunk though. So
I think I would have just bet on myself. I would have sold one more horse. Said, yeah, give me what am I, 20-1 to win this? Sure.
right.
Boom.
I mean, you could still take
'Cause
the
that-
offer, but the guy's he's gonna lose though. He's gonna like put his lance off to the right. so you can strike him, you know?
Yeah. And I do think it would have been a little different if he was telling Dunk to lose himself, because then obviously that has more to do with honor. I think,
Right.
you know, like if you're already trying to win,
Mhm.
I get what he's saying, but like it's not like you're throwing it yourself.
That's true.
Yeah. Real quick, Pluto 24, shout out to you. This man is absolutely correct. We did make an error there. Maekar is not the king, which when you think about it, yeah, the king wouldn't have traveled to this tournament. He's not like completely guarded the entire time he's there either. So Pluto 24 is absolutely correct. He is the prince. His father is Darren II. He is the current king of Westeros right now during this time.
Don't look up who that is.
Yeah, it's always dangerous to look up a Targaryen name because you are going to see what happens in the books and the stories. But seriously, shout out to Pluto 24.
Oh, thank you. That does
Great
make way
call
more
there.
sense.
Maekar is the prince. So his father is still in King's Landing right now. And I also want another, editorial inclusion. Yes, it was a prosthetic. It was a 10-inch prosthetic
Okay.
penis used for Sir Arlen for that episode. So they really made a point to, for some reason, make him hung like a moose.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking. I had the list of Targaryen kings real fast.
It gets a bit confusing because Darren II, I believe Maekar's son is Darren the Dreamer, who was in the pub and saw Dunk and was like, "You were in my dream. Stay the hell away from me." And we're going to learn more about that. But Darren the Dreamer is the drunken son of the current king, Darren II. I believe. I'll have to double check that. But Darren the Dreamer, it sounds
I
right.
see,
And I'm
I see.
pretty positive he's the son of the current
No,
king.
you're right. You're right.
Or he's the son of Prince Maekar. So his grandfather is the king right now.
Yeah, because there's an Ares in there too.
Right. Good call.
Right now
Pluto,
it's-
shout out.
Yeah, Darren the Good, Aries the first, Makar the first.
There you go.
I won't go any farther.
Yep. Yeah. Starts getting a little dangerous for you out there.
So Arian's already behaving like a problem. Stabs the horse on purpose, pretty obviously. A total riot starts afterwards. Just chaos. Do you
That was
think
sick,
Prince-
though. The people of Ashford were like, screw this fool. I don't
Yeah.
care if he's the prince. They start charging the field. Like, that was sick.
That was cool.
I thought
Yeah.
that was dope.
Throwing rocks at him.
Yeah. That was awesome. Hell yeah, Ashford.
Do we think he could be a top 5 Game of Thrones villain by the end of this maybe 3 seasons worth?
That's a tough list to crack. I don't know.
It's true. It's true. There's a lot of good ones.
If you had more time, but pound for pound evil, like the first thing I said after episode 1, I think was like Aerion Targaryen fits. Like the actor, everything. It's like, yep, this is an evil Targaryen that is going to be
brat
evil to
too.
hate.
He has a
Yes.
bratty sense to him. Yeah,
He's a brat,
Yeah.
but he's
got
evil too.
He's got Draco Malfoy vibes.
he does.
Yep. Draco, little Viserys, Viserys the Unworthy coming in there. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly forget his fate, so maybe he could be a
lot of
Game of Thrones
Viserys.
villain.
They're big dragon guys. I got the dragon in me.
yeah. He's the
You don't wanna
dragon
wake the
never
dragon.
loses. Yeah.
There's this kind of fortune prophecy moment, which was kind of crazy. She talks to Dunk first. I kind of forgot what she says, but wasn't as important. Do you guys remember what she said to Dunk? Like, you'll be a knight or something.
I didn't take a note of it. Yeah, I remember the scene, but I forgot exactly what she said to him during that point.
But what she says to Egg, you shall be king and die in a hot fire, and worms shall feed upon your ashes, and all you know shall rejoice in your dying. Which is wild. Little spoilery, not going to talk about it, but how would you react to hearing that as a kid? And like, our prophecies, because also prophecies in the Game of Thrones show were vague. They weren't like exactly what happened. So this one was a little but
Specific.
a little
Yeah.
specific, but I don't know. How would you react to that though if you were Egg? Like, what the fuck?
Terrifying.
Like, right? Like,
Didn't he say he was like, well, hold on, what? And Dunk's
Yeah.
like, oh, don't worry, it's just a joke. And Egg was like, no, what the hell was that, man?
I'm a Targaryen.
Well, and Dunk's playing it off more because he doesn't know who Egg is. But
Yeah,
Egg's kind of
exactly.
like, wait, there's a slight possibility of this here.
That's
Episode
right.
four,
Guy's
he
like,
should've gone
she's
back."
just making it up.
Yeah, maybe he brings that back up. I totally forgot at that point he wasn't aware of Egg's identity now. And I'm not going to get into it. I do know Egg's fate. But it's interesting. Yeah, that was an interesting scene for sure.
Yeah, I re-spoiled all of House of the Dragon for myself too, looking up the Dunk and Egg stuff. I kind of followed it, and then I think one thing led to another. And House of the Dragon's going to be tough. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be really tough to watch the end of that show with. I mean, obviously, there's no dragons now, so there's obviously not zero after House of the Dragon, but obviously bad things happen.
I don't think there's a Game of Thrones show that's not going to be tough to watch the ending of.
Well,
There's a lot.
Yeah, if this makes
I
it
don't
to
know.
season 10, then yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. Yeah, we'll keep it there.
So Dunk's talking to Raymond Fossaway, that squire again, and
That's cool.
the Targaryens are not as beloved and renowned as they once were when they were dragon riding, majestic, people. Now he's saying they're ancestral aliens, blood magicians, and tyrants who have burned our lands. So like, there's definitely people who are over the Targaryen bullshit and them all, fucking each other, and like, it's just, I can tell a lot of Westeros is over having this one family rule Westeros for 200 straight years.
Yeah, they're looked at like this perverse foreigner who have invaded, had dragons. They are incestual. Like, yeah, I mean, I could understand that being a native of Westeros being like, cool. So these fools showed up. They took over everything. They just have sex with their siblings and continue to dominate King's Landing. This is great. Yeah, glad these
Yeah.
guys showed up. Like, totally understand that, like
and now everyone has to be on their best behavior because the prince and prince are there. Yeah.
And if you do anything, they're probably going to burn you alive or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I could totally see how that would be something where the common people would not like Targaryens. And I got to do this again because Blue to 24 is just being clutch today. What the fortune teller told Dunk was, you'll be richer than a Lannister and no great success. And coming from somebody from Dunk's beginnings, yeah, that's got to be something you hear and you're like, okay, yeah, you're an idiot. This is obviously just a game.
All right, where were we?
I will say, I don't think the Targaryens are ever loved at any point. I think the fear of the dragons makes it just
now they're humans
acceptable, and then once that's gone, it's just really all bad.
Yeah, I think the most they've ever been loved is probably Dany taking over Meereen. And like all the people like kind of worshiping her and whatnot and thinking she was the savior. That's probably the most Targaryen has been loved.
Yeah.
So the puppet show. The crowd loves it. Aerion does not. Obviously the dragon never loses. And it shows her slaying the dragon at the end as he's watching in the distance at the beginning of the tent. And it erupts into chaos because it cuts back to Dunk and Raymond when everything's going down, and then it goes back. Dunk snaps, hits the prince. Just an immediate, oh no, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I get you have a crush on her, but like, you've made like 3 weird comments to her, weird, awkward comments. Like, and I know you're a good person and what he's doing is wrong, but it's like, you kind of have to let it happen, or obviously now he has to do a little trial by combat action to save his life. But Egg saves him. He's about to get curb stomped. Like he's biting the cement like, holy crap, like you knocked out one of my teeth. I'm going to knock out all yours. And Egg says, I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you. That was a bar. Just shitting on him. So how did this whole kind of final scene work for you guys? Or Dave, you can go first if you want.
Yeah, it was sick. I forgot. I thought in the books Egg's reveal came much later in the story.
It's like the third book or something. That's what
I was gonna say. I thought at minimum it was the very end of the first book where his identity was revealed. So it caught me off guard that he revealed himself right off the bat. But it was cool. I thought it worked well. I'm not like unhappy if it was early or not. I thought they did it great. Dunk, yeah, not only.
Then you can Ben, give us your thoughts. Dave will be back in a second.
I will say on Dunk's behalf, I think even if he didn't have the crush on the girl, if it was just a random girl, I think he would have done the same thing. Just kind of like falls in line with his character and who he is. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember if it's the end of that episode, but at some point we do see a flashback. It might be episode 4 of Aerion jousting, and Egg yells, "Kill him!" And he's talking about him, which we now know is his brother.
No, that was this episode when he stabs the horse.
Yeah. But you see it again once you know who he is, and it makes more sense that like he's yelling to kill his own brother. So you get an idea of how much he hates him, and then he goes into it a little bit more later as well. But
Dave, you cut out mid thought for about.
I'm assuming the freeze frame wasn't great. Pluto, y'all got to take David off the screen because that looks insane. Unfortunately for me, my face is very demonstrative while I'm speaking, so freeze frames don't treat me nicely. Yeah. Where did I cut off?
We got nothing from you.
We got like 2 sentences, basically.
Fantastic. I'll try to regain. Dunk punched and kicked the prince. He did all that, not great. But one thing I did take away from that, Aerion is evil. I'm not a fan of him at all. A man's got a chin. He took a full-on haymaker from Dunk, and he barely flinched. Like his head rocked a little, and then he looked right back at him. He didn't fall over. Dunk's an absolute tank. So Aerion can take a punch. That was quite impressive. I think you had to though. I was rooting for Dunk to do it too. Stop him. Dunk's all for doing things. He's a knight, man. He fully believes in the charge of a knight. So that scene, although it was hard, and you're like, oh, Dunk, what are you doing? It was pretty satisfying at the same time too, watching him whoop his ass.
Oh yeah. Let's see. So I guess I wish JD was here to ask him what he's thought of the reveal.
That's right, because I forgot Ben already knew about it.
Right.
But half the people I'm talking to right now watching the show had no idea who Egg was. So, and I didn't even consider that aspect until like episode 2. Like, oh, that's right. This is a secret. So yeah, I'm curious what other people who weren't expecting it thought of the reveal. But somebody who knew, I thought the reveal was good.
Yeah, and obviously this trial by combat, this 5-on-5 thing which is not something 7 on 7, excuse me.
We're running 7s.
For the 7 gods. So that's something we haven't seen before, and that will be the finale of this season. Gonna be awesome. Can't wait for that to happen. I think it's gonna
be episode 5.
Wow.
Based on episode 4.
Little penultimate style.
If it's episode 6, I'm gonna be slightly concerned what they're doing with episode 5.
It's same.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but essentially when episode 4 ends, you're ready for that to kick off.
Okay.
Or maybe it did kick off in episode 4. I don't know. You haven't watched it. I don't want to spoil anything.
A couple little things. Egg was singing that song in the beginning of the episode. I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but he was talking about a lot of like houses, and I think there could have been a couple little teasers in there.
Egg was singing a song?
Yeah, and the tree at the beginning when they were at their camp still, he was talking about like all these different. I don't remember what he said, but it was like probably like a classic song they sing, but it was probably telling a story of something that happened in the past.
Speaking of, never mind. That's episode 4.
Whoa.
Well, no, Ben, is episode 4 the song about Alice where Dunk and Egg are talking about? Or is that's 3? That's 3. Okay, yeah. So Lionel Baratheon singing about Alice, basically. Well, the knight's finger. It's essentially the central point of the story, but I don't know. That song was hilarious, and Egg's reaction to it, like, do you think there actually was a girl named Alice who went through all of this? And like, I don't know, that whole scene, the whole bickering between Egg and Dunk, and even at the beginning of the episode, I think Egg has some beer, and he's like, "This tastes terrible, sir." And Dunk's like, "Well, I'm not going to buy you another beer then." Like, I don't know. They're back and forth, and everything is just. I could watch an entire season of them just bickering and hanging out. It's just gold.
Anything else for episode 3? Do you want to get into some spoilers?
Ben, if you got anything else for episode 3? I was gonna bring up a chat comment. Okay. Pluto, you've been a great participant in this, so I would like to read this off. Which GOT Game of Thrones for the layperson spinoff would you all pick? Robert's Rebellion or the Blackfire Rebellion? After episode 3, I want to see more of Maekar and Baelor, so I might go Blackfire, even though Prime Robert would be great to see. This is a great question. Lub, you've been dishing it off to everybody else first. You want to lead off with this one?
I'm going to go with the Blackfire. Also, Egg is in the first or second episode, says, "Die, Blackfires," or whatever like that. So
die, Blackfire scum.
When I was looking into the research about, the wider canon, the Blackfire Rebellion is something that just started brewing during the last king, I'm pretty sure. And it goes for the next, 3 or 4 kings. It's like a long 50-year kind of thing where there's a bastard side of the Targaryens, and they're trying to basically make their name for themselves, become royalty. And with the Robert's Rebellion, it would be cool to see, but I feel like it's something where we already know how it ends. It would be cool to fill in the gaps. So we've kind of heard most of the main events of the story, so I'm picking Blackfire.
I like it. Ben, what do you think?
Nah, you go.
What happened?
Oh, he said you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, well, as somebody who's been talking about the Blackfire Rebellion since we started this podcast, every time we bring up Game of Thrones, I've mentioned it being something I really want to see portrayed on screen. So I'm probably going to have to go Blackfire as well. There's so much stuff that happens in that. There is so much part of the Game of Thrones history that hasn't been explained that happens in that. And the inclusion of Brynden Bloodraven Rivers, which is another character who is one of my favorite Game of Thrones characters who hasn't got
He's lurking
a
right
lot of
now.
attention, barely any on screen. I think I'm going Blackfire. There's just way more to dive into that is unknown. As much as it'd be awesome to see a prime Robert coming through with his warhelm and just breaking through people's ribs, that would be amazing. But all around, I would want to see the Blackfire Rebellion.
That's fair.
You took the words from my mouth, Dave. Give me a prime Bobby B. I think just seeing that aspect of him, because obviously we only see the washed out, fat, drunken one. I think it would just kind of make us respect him a little more. And also, what the other thing that factored into my decision was we have House of the Dragons, so we get a good chunk of Targaryen history. We get this show, we're getting some Targaryen in there. So give me something without them. So that's fair. That's my choice.
Yeah, that's fair. And Robert's Rebellion would include so many great houses and so many notable last names that we would recognize. Like, it would just be so fun to catch all the ancestors of people we saw in Game of Thrones, or the dads or the grandparents of people we've seen in Game of Thrones. And it is the battle at the Trident, seeing the live action. Yeah. There's just so many epic nights of history in that battle. The Battle of the Trident would be incredible to see live action. So that's a good. I like that take, Ben. Break away from Targaryens. We've done a lot with them. Either way, if we got either one of them, I would be so happy. Like, I wouldn't be bummed if we got Robert's Rebellion and not Blackfire. I'd be stoked if we got either.
But if
also, I want to see that scene with Kingslayer.
Yeah, on the throne.
I think, yeah.
After he kills, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Gods, I was strong then.
Yes.
Yes. No! Pluto knows, man.
That's a binge mode quote. Oh shit. I was gonna say something else about because if this show goes 10 seasons, there could be a lot of Blackfire stuff involved in the second half of the show. Like, we could get a Blackfire Rebellion during seasons 5, 6, 7, around there. Because I'm pretty sure. Oh, I'm not gonna say it, but
good catch.
Yeah,
because if they go 10 seasons, there's going to be a time jump. That's all I'm gonna say.
Spoiling some stuff.
Let's get into the spoilers. All right, let's do a little spoiler section here at the end.
So,
you got something else? All right. Do you have something else? I think you're delayed.
I was just gonna say, am I delayed a bit? I was just gonna mention Blackfire Rebellion was about 196 to 258 AC. I'm way off. Yeah. All right. Keep rolling. You're fine. Move on without me.
No, you said to 258.
Oh, I'm gonna take my camera off. 196 to 258. I'm still here.
Yeah. So if you want to get into spoilers, we're gonna do a little spoiler section right here. So if you do not want to know anything that happens, this will be like season 7 on, and outside of that, nothing within the next. You'll forget about it by the time season 6 comes out. So Aegon is king around basically when the Blackfire Rebellion ends. So he ends the Blackfire Rebellion.
I was going to say the Hedge Knight takes place in 209 AC. The Blackfire Rebellion starts in 196, but the main portion is 211 to 258. So it kicks off 2 years from this point we're watching right now.
Maekar is king for majority of the Blackfire Rebellion.
So,
Aeg finishes it.
It's about to kick off. You're right. So we could see all of this with this show still.
A little 2-for-1.
Yeah, there you go.
So some spoilers. Dave, you mentioned a couple of them. Lord Tywin was his royal page and cupbearer. That's crazy. He named his first son Duncan the Small.
That's so sick. Come on.
His third son and Lady Olenna Tyrell were betrothed. Imagine that.
Wow.
He knighted a 16-year-old Sir Barristan Selmy.
Okay.
He is also Daenerys Targaryen's great grandfather. So there's some other stuff in there. And this is also the they talk about Bobby B has the Targaryen ties. One of his youngest daughter is Robert and Stannis Baratheon's grandma. So that's where there's a Baratheon and a Targaryen right before, 2 generations before Robert and all them. So there's some other stuff in there, but I won't go too hard. He does stop the incest. He is one of the first kings to stop like the incest stuff because he does marry. I forgot who it is, but it's not a Targaryen. So
always knew he's a
And
good
then
dude.
And then it just all comes back full circle.
Yeah. Damn it.
Targaryens, Lannisters, you name it.
It's a part of nature, apparently.
Danny didn't know though, right?
Yeah.
They banged before they knew.
Danny and John didn't know. She wasn't put off by it after she found out, though. John was, but she was like, well, you know, it's cool, right?
That's how we do things.
So big whoop.
And it's also
yeah. No,
it's
sorry,
also crazy how we're 8 kings after House of the Dragon. Like I looked it up. Aegon is the king right now, and we are 8 kings after that. But we're only 3 kings to the Mad King. So there's definitely some longer reigns coming up, and during the whole Civil War, Targaryen Civil War is a lot of shorter reigns where it's
stuff
10
gets
years.
less turbulent because they aren't constantly in this power vacuum with dragons trying to decide who's the rightful ruler. And after the dragons go, I think you got quite a bit longer periods of peace there. Real quick, Brooklyn Smart in the chat said, for selfish reasons, I would want to see Robert's Rebellion because it's talked about so much within the Game of Thrones series. Totally get that. And then Pluto came back with movie for Robert's Rebellion, which you could totally do. You could, because we already know the surrounding events, and then just continue the Blackfire story in the House of the Dragon. Just do a time skip, best of both. I agree with that, but just switch House of the Dragon for Dunk and Egg, because House of the Dragon, I think we're only doing one more season.
Right.
Two. I think it ends on season 4. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And of course, Dunk is a member of the King's Guard, Egg's closest ally forever.
Hell yeah.
Until their bitter end.
Buds for life.
Buds for life. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for our coverage of the first 3 episodes of Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Stay tuned in 2 weeks or so, and maybe we'll bring Ben back, talk about the season as a whole, speculate season 2, get into a little more spoilers. That's always fun with Game of Thrones. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time at Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast.